Every now and again when I upload a video about some aspect of the Andy Griffith Show, someone will ask me to do something on Howard Sprague and the actor who played him, Jack Dodson. To date, I've kinda shied away from the color seasons of the Andy Griffith Show, mostly because, how can I say this diplomatically? Well, I just don't love them. Don Knotts only made sporadic appearances as Deputy Barney Fife, and for whatever reason, those color episodes really seem to capture the period of the show where Andy, from time to time, he just seemed a little more irritable and ornery. Oh, who am I kidding? He was a lot more irritable and ornery. Anyway, I know there are those of you who will be quick to point out that the character of Howard Sprague wasn't actually the first time that Jack Dodson made an appearance on the show. In a Season 6 episode titled Lost and Found, Jack played Ed Jenkins, an insurance agent. And Andy must have enjoyed working with Jack because it wasn't too long before he was back. And this time, he was cast as the ever-lovable Howard Sprague. So let's just give the man his due. Howard and Jack deserve their own video, and let's make it a tribute video. Why? Well, because both of these guys were pretty darn decent fellers. Sure, Howard was something of a mama's boy, a milquetoast if you will, but you know what? He was probably the most educated person in Mayberry, and it wasn't like he didn't go out. In fact, Millie seemed quite into Howard, at least until Sam Jones came along. No, not this Sam Jones. This Sam Jones. Howard was also pretty darn good at sports. Maybe they weren't the typical ones that you and I think about, like football, baseball, and basketball, but leisure sports like bowling? Well, the man was pretty darn good. Howard was also a pretty decent fisherman. In fact, he was so good that he caught Old Sam, the biggest and most elusive fish in all of North Carolina. Yep, all in all, Howard was a pretty accomplished guy. After the Andy Griffith Show ended its run after 8 successful seasons, Jack continued to play the popular character on the show's spin-off, Mayberry RFD. And if not for the dreaded CBS Rural Purge, where the network decided to cancel all of their shows with a country theme, he may have ended up playing Howard Sprague for another decade. Instead, he moved on to other things. Jack showed up in a few movies like Thunderbolt and Lightfoot and The Getaway, and did lots and lots of TV work. But because this tribute video is based on my memories, I'm going to focus on those things that I remember after the Andy Griffith Show and Mayberry RFD. One of my favorite post-Andy appearances by Jack Dodson was his recurring role on Happy Days as Ralph Malph's optometrist father, Mickey Malph. He wasn't the first actor to play the role on Happy Days, but he was definitely the most well-remembered. His zany performances allowed fans of that show to understand how and why Ralph Malph was the jokester that he was on Happy Days. And of course I loved seeing Jack play Howard Sprague again in the Andy Griffith reunion movie, Return to Mayberry. But even more than that wonderful little event, I really dug the episode of the It's Gary Shandling Show where Howard Sprague, yes, the Howard Sprague from Mayberry, North Carolina, showed up. There he was, moving into Gary's condo unit. During the episode, Howard reminisced about his old friends from Mayberry and shared some life lessons that had an impact on many of that show's central characters. It was a nuanced, subtle tribute to a character that probably doesn't always get his due when fans discuss the Andy Griffith Show or Mayberry RFD. Dodson also showed up during the 3rd season of Andy Griffith's Matlock TV series in an episode titled The Colt. It was a one-time appearance, unlike the recurring roles that would be given to Don Knotts and Anita Crusoe, but it was still fun to see him on Griffith's comeback hit from the late 80s. My memories of Jack and Howard end in the early 90s because Jack passed away in 1994 at the way too young age of 63. Heart failure was the official diagnosis, but he had been gravely ill for almost a year. He left behind a wife, Mary, that he'd been devoted to for 35 years, as well as 2 grown children. And beyond that, he also left a legacy of wonderful performances that weren't just about the laughs, because Jack Dodson found a way to share warmth and love and a whole lot of heart whenever he showed up on the screen. And that, my friends, is what I will always remember most about him. Alright, that's it. One last pick. Let's go with this one. It makes me smile every time I see it. Not sure why, but it does. Anyway, were you a fan of Howard Sprague and the actor who played him, Jack Dodson? I would love it if you'd share your memories in the comments section. And while you're at it, please give this video a thumbs up. Maybe even share it on Facebook or Twitter. And what the heck? Why not subscribe to my channel? I talk about music, movies, and television, mostly from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.